as a leader, would you like the people in your team to take more initiative? Now you might go, well, Gihan, of course I want them to take more initiative. That's a no-brainer. And if that's what you think, I'm going to tell you now how you can do that, how you can start getting people, encourage them to take more initiative. But before I do that, I should warn you that this is not always true. It's not so much of a no-brainer that you go, I always want people to take more initiative. For example, if there's some new software that's been rolled out, I see this a lot with AI. For example, there's a new AI initiative that's been rolled out throughout the whole company. Let's say it's enhancing customer experience, and every leader and manager throughout the organization, part of their role is to get everyone in their teams to start using this new software. If that applies to you, then actually you want people to be compliant. You want them to follow the rules and learn how to use the new software. You don't want them to keep using the old one, especially secretly behind your back, or to find some other hack that means they don't have to use a new one. You want them not to be proactive, but to be compliant. Okay, so sometimes you don't want people to take initiative, but often you do. And you'd love people to be more proactive. So what can you do? Let me tell you what happened to David Marquette, who was a commander of a nuclear submarine in the US Navy, and he was put in charge of this submarine for the first time. He had a lot of experience on different kinds of submarines, but this is the first time he was put in charge of this sub, which was one of the best in the fleet. And so they were just doing training exercises, and he was working with a very experienced crew, and they were doing these exercises. So one of the activities that he got the crew to do was he got them to turn off the engine, and then the crew on the bridge had to figure out what was wrong. So it was running on battery power, which is fine for a little while, and they had to figure out what was wrong before the battery ran out, and then they'd be in real trouble. And as he was watching the crew on the bridge do this, he realized these guys are really skilled. They know what they're doing. Let me make the problem a little bit more difficult. So he turned to his first mate and asked him to give the order to the helmsman to go at 2/3 of the speed, of full speed, because then the battery power would diminish faster. So the first mate yelled out, ahead 2/3. And then the guy, the poor helmsman, he just sat there doing nothing. And Marquette's he turned to him and goes, what's wrong? And he goes, oh, Commander, on this ship, there is no 2/3 setting. So Marquette didn't know that because it's the first time on this ship. But he said, okay, well, what is there? And we do this. And they did the exercise and everything turned out fine. And then later, he talked to his first mate. He didn't do it in public, but he said to his first mate, did you know that there was no 2/3 setting? And the guy said, yes. And he said, why did you give the order? And he said, sir, because you asked me to. And I thought maybe there's something that you learned in commander school that we didn't know about, a secret setting. But basically, you asked me to do it, so I did it. And Marquette realized that this crew, as good as they were and as smart as they were still compliant. They would obey the hierarchy. And he spent the next 12 months building a different culture, turning the culture around. In fact, the title of his book is called Turn the Ship Around. And one of the key principles, which is the one I'm going to share with you and I encourage you to use, is this simple thing. It's 4 words. Push authority to information. Push authority to information. So there are people who've got access to information in your team. But do they have the authority to act on that information? Or do they only have the authority to take that information and push it up to you? That's not bad, but it doesn't encourage initiative. Okay, if all they do is they alert to problems, that's okay, that's all right. But even better is that they have the authority to act on that without necessarily checking in with you. Obviously, there's some things where they need to check in with you, and that's a matter of good judgment, which is separate. But the first and most important thing you can do to start encouraging people to have initiative is to push authority to information. If you'd like to know more about this and start this little process, download my worksheet that you'll find here and use it for yourself and with your team. If you want people to take initiative, push authority to information. I think you'll find it useful, and I hope you find simple ways to get people started to take initiative. I'll see you in the future.